Ruben Amorim has confirmed that he has now got a clear view of most of his players and he will soon be coming up with his preferred starting 11. In this video, I'm here to try and go into his mind and try to predict who would be in the first 11 that Ruben Amorim will be sticking with going forward as Man United manager. My name is Webb. Welcome to the United Sport. Like, share, and do subscribe. It's preview day, of course. We do have an important game against Nottingham Forest that you believe should be an exciting one because it's at Old Trafford where Amorim has won all of his games. Now, the setback of a loss against Arsenal was not one that I think that really took a lot away from Ruben Amorim because he felt, besides the result, losing to set pieces, the team did improve in a lot of things. And of course, there will be always more to improve on, but he's now focusing on to the next. Now, listen, guys, can you imagine that since Eric Ten Hag left Man United, he left when United were languishing in the bottom half of the table when he left, because by the time Ten Hag was sacked, United was 14th on the pile. As we speak now, with all those victories, with all the performances from both Ruud van Nistelrooy and Ruben Amorim, United is still 13th. Now, in physics, you could almost, I think, call that no work done because we've played and won a lot of games and drawn many and, tried to put on good performances, but the position on the log is not changing. And Ruben Amorim was asked that question and he admitted that it is quite frustrating considering how much work the players put in because you want to see that reflect on the table because that's what all matters mostly, isn't it? But I like how he approached the question and he said, you see, what he has realized in the 2-3 weeks he's been around is that these Man United fans are sober, that they first of all want to demand they demand a performance of a work rate and a heart and a desire, a fight from the team. When they get the fight, they will start demanding for wins. When the wins come, they would want them to start being consistent and then demand for positions on the log. And we are still now in a phase where they just need to have a fight, building the character to fight and run and work hard, which I think for me is an honest way to look at it. Because again, as a fan of Man United, he spoke my mind. Because for me, at this point in time, really, I don't want to dwell a lot on the position on the log. And because for as long as the team is performing well and improving in key areas day in and day out, certainly at some point they are going to start winning games consistently, and that is going to affect their position on the table. But also, position on the table is dependent on how the other teams are performing because certainly they're also putting in work. So I think that is the right way to approach it. Just first demand players to work hard. When they work hard, let them win games. When they win games, let them be consistent. And then after that, the table talk will then, I think, become clear. And it will inevitably work itself out if they do such right things. But going proper into the team talk, Victor Lindelof returned to training. He confirmed, of course, he won't be available for selection for the game tomorrow, but he did return to training, I think, for the first time under him. He's probably one of those players he's yet to see. Johnny Evans is not in, so in terms of team news, that's it. Lisandro Martinez and Kobe, that we know, are available and will be fit for selection. But getting into the question of the starting 11, which he hinted on, that says now he has got an idea of his players because studying players both on match day and during training, you need, as a manager, you want to get to look at their character and how they behave in different situations. For example, if a player has played so many 90 minutes of a game today, how much time do they need to recover? If I give an example of a player like Manuel Ugarte, who he knows for the longest time, I think, of all players at Man United, the one he knows like the back of his hand, I think, is Manuel Ugarte. He says he needs a bit of time to recover. When he plays an intense game, he's the kind of player who needs some bit of time to recover. But Bruno doesn't need a lot of time to recover, for example. And probably that's why he's always there. He keeps playing. Now, he's saying now he has an idea of his starting 11 based on all those facts. And get to get into that starting 11, which he says in the coming weeks we should be getting to see. It's quite a hard paper, to be honest. And I've been looking at it critically and I'm thinking, who then would be, for example, in the back line, who would be Ruben Amorim's starting three? Because I don't think the back line is one that will think around with a lot. No coach, no manager really would want to think around with the back line. And I'm thinking, yes, the elite is there. Lenny Yoro has now come up. You've got Nusal Mazraoui and Lisandro Martinez, because those, I think, are our best back four, best defenders currently. Delete, Yoro, Martinez, and Mazraoui. Now, Mazraoui feels like a non-negotiable. I think he should be the first name on the team sheet before anyone of the outfield players. If you're talking starting 11 for Man United, then if Mazraoui is in, most probably he's going to be on the right. Now, who are you going to play in the central defense? Are you going to put Lenior on the bench and then play Delete there and Lisandro Martinez on the left because he's naturally left-footed? So does that pull out Lenior? And I'm talking, guys, of the general starting 11, not particularly for the game tomorrow. Don't get it twisted. He's because when you have a starting 11, you only pull out and pick a few positions. So that's what why it's important to have a starting 11. So you think of that and you're like, okay, quite a challenge, because you think he would want to have a natural left-footed player on the left-hand side of the back three, and if Lisandro Martinez is there, there's no brainer about that. He certainly has got to be the one. But then that means Lenny Yoro has no space, because you don't think Yoro is going to start ahead of Nusal Mazraoui on the right, unless he's pulling out the elite and put Yoro in the middle of the back three, which is also a bit of a risk until we see it, because like I said in my earlier video, I low-key feel like Royo could be tried in the Nottingham Forest game as a central defender. He could be tried as a central defender, playing in the middle of Martinez and maybe Mazraoui or the elite on the right. But then, how is that? Then in the middle, certainly Ugarte, and I mean maybe Kobe. Definitely, I think he's keeping Kobe as a number a number 8. Then on the left, I think judging by performances, probably Tyrell Malaysia would be ahead of anyone who passes on the left because of his performance, especially against Arsenal in the 45 minutes he was on. I thought he was fair. I mean, keep him there and trust me, he'll be getting better. Then Ahmad definitely on the right wing. Then Bruno, and who then and well, is it Zakzi behind Hoyland? Could that be his starting 11? So, guys, I think you can drop me your own preferred starting 11 from all the players you've seen. Of course, in goal, it's Andrew Nana. There's no question about that. But you can give me yours, and because very soon we are going to be getting to know that team. The thing is, I think Rashford has clearly shown that he has fallen out. I think there are no debates about him. I think Mount is not your really out and outside. I think Mount is a tactical player who you bring into certain games where you need to be cautious at the start, and I think that's why you get him in, and maybe you pull out a Jeffrey Zakzi. So I don't think Mount would fit into a starting 11. And then who else? Luke Shaw, of course, we can't talk about Luke Shaw. He's now injured again. Then Casemiro cannot be a starter no more. I think I'm close to it, by the way. I want to pick your mind on it, but I think I'm close to hitting it right. But let me know what you think. That said, I think the names I've mentioned probably will be the starters as well for the game against Nottingham Forest. And if that is so, trust me, my prediction will be an easy one. I think United is going to beat the life out of Nottingham Forest. They were beaten 3-0 by Man City. I'll tell you, they are going to get another beating again, because I feel like United now are in an element that is quite dangerous. I thought that performance against Arsenal built the character of the team, and I don't see, and of course, and again, I'm not trying to undermine Espirito and what they have done that has put him to 7th position on the pile. But my feeling is now at Old Trafford and how the psyche is up there with the fans, the coach, the players, and that good performance against Arsenal, where, by the way, Amorim said after the game they were also training. Of course, they also train with the set pieces, and we've seen the improvements in set pieces and stuff. I feel it will be difficult for Nottingham Forest to survive at Old Trafford. I think this is one of those days where you go into a Man United home game and predict comfortably that if it doesn't happen, It will be, of course, again, because it's football and anything can happen, but not because United are not good enough or will be gambling into a performance at home. So I think it's one of those comfortable games for me as we head into it. So, but let me know your starting 11 after all the games, because we've seen all the players play under Amorim. I think most of the players who would expect to compete for starting positions. I don't think anyone feels Baindil or Victor Lindelof should be also competing for a start. So I think most of the players you would expect in a starting 11 for Man United, of the lot we have got a chance. We've seen them. Who do you think fits into the starting 11? And what do you expect for the game tomorrow? My name is Web. Like, share, and subscribe, and let me catch you later.